Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, so happy Monday. It's a new week, new beginning, time to get after your goals, feeling absolutely awesome. And to feel absolutely awesome, guys, you need to stay hydrated. But you probably already knew about that, right? What you might not know is that drinking water or any kinds of hydrating liquids isn't enough to stay hydrated. To make your body, your cells inside and out of your cells, to make your blood or all of your tissues, brain hydrated, you need to have electrolytes in your body. Electrolytes are those charged minerals that help our cells, that are needed in our cells to create energy, to spark electricity and communicate between each other. We need electrolytes to help cells to contract muscles. Cells make muscle tissue, and one of those muscles is heart muscles. So to actually, for example, contract muscles, our heart, our stomach muscle, we need electrolytes. And we also need electrolytes, again, for hydration. Specifically, guys, sodium-potassium. You need to have more or less balance of those two electrolytes or those two minerals to make your cells stay hydrated inside the cell and outside of the cell. Without sodium or salt, salt is sodium and chloride. Chloride is also an electrolyte, so salt is good. Anyhow, so without sodium, without potassium, you can't really stay hydrated. And so you can be drinking gallons of water, but it's just gonna make your kidneys work more. It's not gonna hydrate you. I have so many friends who are into exercise, into clean eating, into fasting, doing all these right things, eating all this right food. And they're like, I drink so much water and pee so much. I can't seem to, ever feel like I have enough water. And I always advise them, check your sodium and potassium intake. You might not be getting enough of those. For people into healthy lifestyle, sodium, like for myself, I actually have to get some salt. So every time I drink half a liter of water, I have like a big pinch of rock sea salt with it, because I eat so clean that it's very hard for me to get sodium I need naturally. So I add it, and I feel so much better. Like my workouts go so much better. My sense of balance, how hard I can go at my workouts, how sharp I am mentally. All of that is affected by adequate amount of sodium, guys, among other things, of course. But so if you are feeling, lousy, you feel like your brain is kind of not firing, your workout's kind of lousy, you might experience even low blood sugar and, start sweating profoundly and feeling like you're about to faint. That also has to do with sodium balance. Like when your body doesn't have enough sodium, it can't create that electricity, that spark in your cells, allowing your nerves to communicate. And so you can feel pretty lousy. And again, it has to do with electrical charges in your cells. And also sodium is important for hydration. So if you are not getting enough sodium, you're going to be dehydrated no matter how much water you drink. That's why athletes who do long events, for example, marathons, triathlons, Ironmans, they get sodium either in their drinks or their gels, or they take salt tablets. There is a reason for that, guys. But again, if you're into fasting, into clean eating, into athletic stuff, if you are doing a lot of saunas, you need to add sodium. And again, for me, what works is different for every person, the amount you need. For me, what works is a big pinch, probably like kind of like quarter of a teaspoon, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, with every half a liter of water I drink. And then potassium. also needed. Potassium is needed to hydrate your cells inside. So if sodium is more of outside hydration, then potassium is more of an inside cell hydration. So if you're feeling thirsty, but you also seem to be retaining water, it might mean that you are having sodium-potassium imbalance. So you need to add potassium. And how can you add it? Well, the best way to get your potassium, for many reasons, because potassium is important also for heart function, for muscle function, for so many functions. Potassium is needed for energy creation. So potassium, guys, again, especially if you are feeling like you are retaining water, but you're drinking a lot of water also, and you don't know, like, should you stop drinking water? No, you should not stop drinking water. What you should start doing is take your potassium. So where do we get our potassium? The richest in potassium foods are, well, the champion of potassium is actually palm hearts. There is a brand, might be available where you are, of canned palm hearts, a Green Giant. So it's the most convenient way to eat your palm hearts. Palm hearts have very little calories. I think like maybe 80 for the whole can of 220 grams or so. And then it has, palm hearts also have zinc and other minerals and a lot of potassium, almost like 100% of your potassium, like 3.5 grams of potassium, somewhere around that number, is in a can of palm hearts that again only has like 80 calories. They are a great appetizer. They taste like pickles, kind of. So on a more savory side, I use them as my appetizer with some kimchi or sauerkraut. So anyhow, palm hearts are your champions. If you're an athlete, start eating your palm hearts. Like, your life depends on it, guys, and you'll feel so much better. Your hydration levels will skyrocket. So start eating potassium. Then, of course, we have things like avocados. We have also another great low-cal potassium source with a lot of prebiotic fiber. Mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, chestnut mushrooms, white button mushrooms. So great sources of potassium. That's why I add about 150 grams to my food every time I cook. But also, guys, when you cook with mushrooms full of potassium, some of that potassium going to leak out in the liquid. If you're cooking with liquid or oil, then I suggest cooking with water and consume that water, or just use enough so there is nothing going out. And potassium kind of stays in. So mushrooms, then we have avocados, we have bananas, but I would focus on palm hearts first, just because there is no other food that has that amount of potassium in so little amount. And then mushrooms, because they are low cal, a lot of prebiotic fibers, they add deliciousness into your cooked meals. Then, of course, bananas, avocados, we have apricots, are pretty good sources of potassium. So are nectarines, spinach, Swiss chard, also great sources of potassium. Kale, not so much. We have Brussels sprouts and broccoli, also quite good. We have beans and sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. So those are potassium-rich foods. And I personally just eat a can of palm hearts almost every single day. Then I add some mushrooms. I always have my bananas and a bunch of fruit and greens. And so I'm getting loads of potassium. Since I started doing that, I never had an issue that I would retain water, because potassium is also, you want to think about potassium as that pushing out liquid out of your cells and out of your tissues. So it kind of makes you look leaner, and it makes you retain less water, just because potassium helps your cells and tissues hydrate optimally, so your body does not retain more water than needed. So if you're again feeling like you are retaining more water than ideal, then try adding more potassium. Might help a lot, because I've been analyzing a lot of food diaries of my clients and just friends and people, who need some advice. And most of people not getting nowhere close the amount of potassium that science says we need. Like our ancestors used to get ton and ton of potassium because everything they ate was potassium rich almost, right? And these days, with all these processed foods and, all these keto and protein rich diets that I'm not against, I've been on keto for 6 years. Well, I'm not anymore. But those diets are not rich in potassium at all. And you might add it as a supplement, but it's not ideal, hard to dose, hard for your body to process. So get your potassium. And the reason, again, why we're talking about potassium and also about sodium for the clean eating, fasting athletes, sauna doing people out there. So you need to look into sodium. Most of you will need to look into potassium. Guys, if you want to do a quick research, you can contact me, Angela@CreateYourself.today. Give me your 1-day food diary, and I'll tell you exactly how much potassium you are getting. Of course, I'll need the exact amounts of food you are eating throughout your day. And then I'll tell you how much potassium you need and how much in food of potassium you need to add to get optimal amount according to science data that we have for healthy, athletic, fit people. So, but the bottom line of this podcast, guys, hydration isn't just about drinking liquids. It's also about electrolytes, those charged minerals that our body needs to hydrate itself on your cellular level. So if you want to stay hydrated, you need to look not just in drinking enough water. You might actually not need that much water. What you need to look at is sodium, potassium balance. Some say that sodium, potassium got to be managed, got to be balanced. Like, for example, 5 grams of sodium for a healthy, fit individual and 5 grams of potassium. And that's kind of ideal. Of course, if you have, more sweating going on because you're super active or doing a lot of sauna, if you have, hypertension, if you have metabolic issues, something else, that balance might need to be adjusted. But what I can tell you, for most of you, you just need to eat more potassium. Like, more potassium is always better from natural foods. Like, you can overdose, and that can be actually dangerous for your heart in supplements, but in foods, it is impossible. It is. So, if in doubt, eat more potassium. And again, we have palm hearts, we have chestnut mushrooms, we have avocados, we have bananas, we have apricots and nectarines, we have beans and sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. So all are great sources of potassium, but potassium champion is palm hearts. And that's it about hydration. So stay hydrated. Again, what I do, with every half a liter of water, I get like 1/4 teaspoon of rock sea salt, white rock. It just goes down smoother, and I don't have to mix it with my water and then drink a bunch of salted water. I just swallow those small rocks of salt. For potassium, just eat a lot of potassium, get some palm hearts, eat a can a day, add mushrooms to every time you cook, eat a couple of bananas, eat an avocado, eat, some beans, some sweet potatoes, what I call starchy carbs with 1 or 2 of your meals, and you'll be good to go with your potassium too. And then drink water, drink, green tea, unsweetened coffee, mineral water, all great ways to hydrate. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm more than happy to help you out with my personalized advice. Share this episode with another person who might be complaining all the time about how they can't get enough water. They just keep drinking, might be missing some sodium and potassium. So share this episode with them, with your friends, with anyone you'd like. The more educated about nutrition people there are, the better our system going to be for the future generations. So by sharing, you're making the world better. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Have an awesome week. We're gonna have a couple of interesting and very useful, nutritious episode this week, so stay tuned. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.